Hi there, this is Ansu from Ivy Tree Studio, and today I've got a little fun What's in the Box with Lily B series program for you. And I'm thinking about why the color white is so important to any artist and their studio. And I started to kind of look at the things that I frequently buy and the reasons why I stick to white when I buy certain products. Not all of it, but most of the things that I buy, I try to always include something that's a neutral color or white. Now it can be something simple like string. My string is nearly done, so you can see I've used it up. The string can be colored, any color that you would like. So if you buy ribbon, the same, just buy a white kind of ribbon and buy it in bulk, and you can always color it with your inks and things. You are going to buy the rainbow in certain products that you like acrylic paints or inks or distress oxides or whatever, and all of those can be used to color these kinds of things. So whether you are buying white paper flowers like these, you can spray them any color and you can personalize them. So think about that. Right, so paper flowers can be white, your string, your ribbon can be white. Then other things that I also look at, things like lace, so in the same category, things like lace, buy the white one, and you can color it in any color and match it to your specific project. Right, things that I buy in bulk, tape. Right, so tape is something that's very important to any paper crafting studio. And I would suggest that you have a variety of widths available. The standard one that I use a lot is this one. This is about, I would say, 1 centimeter in width, just under 1 centimeter. Right, so about half an inch. Right, so that would be I think it's about 12 millimeter. So that is my standard kind of tape. Then this one is about 5 mil. Yep, 5 millimeters in width, and the other one is 1 inch wide, so or deep, or the width of it. Right, I need to get my English straight here. Right, so these are kind of my go-to things, and you get these in different types. So you get a polyester one, and then you get a tissue type one. And I think, if it's just a general fun project, buy the cheaper one and have that available in bulk, depending on the type of project that you are going to do. If it's like a book or something that you want, or a album that you want to have last longer, then I would say go for a more expensive type of tape so that your project lasts longer. But still, this is a kind of in my wide range of products that I would say I like to go for. Then things like, let's say, things like tools that you buy. You get tools in different colors, but if you can go for white, you would find that your studio is very busy. It gets very busy, right? And so for me, it's kind of it's a personal style, I would say. But things like white bins, like this one, very easy to use in your studio, and it makes finding your projects easier. Your tools are white, so that kind of minimizes the busyness of the studio. If you can have the things that you always use, like your trolleys, if you buy a Raskog trolley, or you have shelving in your studio, go for white, because that will minimize the stress on your brain and the clutter that you see visually around you, because you're going to have that because you're creative. Right, so go for white. Okay, so that's tools. Then we look at storage solutions. So I would say that this was a fun one because it gives you length, so you can put your scrapbook projects in here, but it also gives you depth, so your projects don't fold over, so they fit nicely in here. And you can also stack your stamps and your stencils in bins like these, and you can label them up front. So I would say this would be a really fun bin to collect in your studio if you are going for open storage. For the most of it, I feel like lately that I'm replacing or finding myself replacing my open storage bins for closed ones, because that just minimizes the dust and cleaning up is much more easier, and you don't have as much damage to your project when you are archiving them, or you have product and things that you store in your bins, then close them up and you have less of the clutter issue, but also less dust and less damage. Right, so bins. Then next up we have paper and foam. These are things that I use a lot in my studio. So I always have the standard 160 GSM white cardstock. It's acid free. If you can go for the Altaro brand, that would be archival friendly for your photos, if you do scrapbooking, things like that. If you're just doing art journaling, it doesn't really matter that much. This is a natural kind of organic feel to this paper, so you can write on it and do all sorts of things with this. It's a nice thickness, I would say, for even making cards, because if you're going to layer on that, that would be fine for your card making as well. You can go a little thicker for the base of your card, like a 200 or 240 GSM. But for me, for the use of my printer, I would suggest the 160, because the thicker you go, the less your printer is going to like using that over and over again, and your print spooler is going to get damaged after a while or get worn out after some use. So my first printer, I still can use it, but it already has some spooling issues because of just the use of the normal cardstock, and I got about 4 years of use out of that printer. So kind of stretching the use of your printer. If you print at home, I would say that 160 is your kind of go-to cardstock for ephemera and die cut pieces and things like that. You can also go for white sticker paper if you like to make stickers with your die cutting machines. Clear sticker also. So as I talk about the white, I also want to talk about clear. So anything clear goes together with the white. So you go for either white or you go for clear, because clear can go on top of anything and you can see your project. And it, like the crystal drops, as well as my top favorite clear glass Anitas 3D, gives you a little dome effect on your projects. So for lettering, highlighting lettering, that's great. Creating little embellishments with this is wonderful. Adding little clear dots onto your project just as a style effect. The white as well can be a wonderful little product, because you can smear it, you can dot with it, you can add dimension to anything with it, and you will be able to see it. You can also color it. Okay, so play around with your products, don't just think one dimensional. Then there are things like paints and mediums, and so I like to use the acrylic gel medium by Dala. I just bought a new tub, and my older one is still good, and this one is years old, so not months but years, and it's still good. There's still some in the bottom, and it goes and it goes and it goes, and I'm not very good at taking care of keeping it clean and so on. I just keep on using it, and that's the thing. I can finish this tub and then I have enough replacing it with a new one, so I can store that for a long time, and it lasts a long time. It doesn't go off easily, and I've had different brands that I've tested. This is my go-to brand because you can do different things with this one. It says on the container it's acrylic extender for impasto and relief texture, dries rapidly, extremely adhesive, ideal for model building and most art projects, compatible with Dala acrylic and oil paint, may be diluted with Dala Deco varnish or other water and then they've got new packaging in this. It's exactly the same product, but they've got something different that they say here. So it is very versatile product, suitable for many art and craft applications. This product can be used as a thickener for acrylic paint, a binder for paper mache and powder paint, a protective coating like Podge, and an image transfer medium, which is interesting, to name a few. Brushes may be washed in warm water, and that's the only thing that I can really recommend you do when you have a brush. Kind of designate one brush for your gel medium and make sure that you take care of that brush. The moment that you've kind of finished painting a surface or using your brush, pop it in soapy water, so have that soapy water next to you, and then give it a wash. And even if you don't have time immediately, just leave it in the soapy water, and then when you're done and you're cleaning up, then go and wash it in warm soapy water and clean it properly, and you can use that brush again and again. If you don't, obviously that it's a glue based product, so it's an adhesive kind of, so what's going to happen to your brush, it's going to become hard as rock, and you'll have to throw it out. So if you want to use that brush again and again, take care of it immediately. So my go-to tip would be have a little jar just on your desk with soapy water in it, and pop that immediately after you've used it into that little soapy container, and leave it in for a bit, because that will dissolve the medium from your brush as well, and then when you're done, you go and you clean it off. So remember that tip. Alright, the other product from Dala that I also have, and this is also very old, is the gesso, and it gets very thick after a while, so it does dry out a bit, so you have to make sure that your container is nice and tight. But what you can do with this, even if it's a little bit stiff, you can add water and dilute it and create a little paint with it that you can prep surfaces with. So the idea of gesso, and this is a white gesso, is to prep your surfaces before you're going to paint. So it says it is used as a ground to prime boards or canvas before painting. Gesso can be used as an undercoat for acrylic paints or oils. When used under oil paint, first size the gesso with diluted Dala acrylic matte glaze medium to prevent oil absorption. Alright, and then brushes may be washed in warm water, so it's easy to clean, so water-based product. Right, and also what I wanted to mention about this one is you can use it as a texture paste very easily, because it's kind of a thick based product. Right, and then acrylic matte glaze medium is a new one that I'm going to try out, and it's basically like gel medium but with a glaze effect, and it says apply with a soft brush or dilute with water and apply with an atomizer, which I find interesting, and then provides a protective varnish for acrylic paint, soft pastels, charcoal, watercolor or any other water-based product. Used to dilute acrylic paint for a natural matte glaze, provides a water-resistant matte finish, and you clean equipment with water. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, hubby brought me tea. Don't put it on my paper. Thank you so much. Next up is your Americana paint. Now, Americana is my all-time favorite acrylic paint. I've been using this for probably more than a decade, and what I would suggest is that you stock up on white. And as I put this in my basket at the store, hubby was with me, and he was noticing that I put in 4, and he said, why are you buying so much? Won't it go off or go bad after some time? And I was saying, no, I've had these paints for such a long time, and they last for a long time, and white is your kind of base paint that you mix everything with and blend everything with, so you need a lot of this white, and I've been low on my Americana white paint. I do have the Crafters acrylic, which is kind of a lower grade to this one, and but I prefer this one. It's very opaque and it covers great, and so I'm in love with the Snow Titanium White Americana acrylic paint, and I need lots of this, so I can suggest that you go for that. Something else that I can just suggest is having a variety of pencils, different mediums, pens available. And before I talk about the pens, what you see here is Fun Foam, and I stock up on Fun Foam, and that's a personal preference, but I use it for everything. I add dimension to products under paper, layers with this, so I snip it up and I use it for various things. The packaging says it's easy to cut and paint, it's flexible, it's durable, it's color fast, and it's non-toxic, so it's great for kids, but keep away from babies under 3. they will just swallow it, and that would not be great. Okay, and then you can mold, fold, bend, weave and roll this. It's ideal for all sorts of craft projects, and I do different things with it. One of the major things that I do with my fun foam sheets is I make travel notebook covers with it. So if you're interested in that, you can find the designs for these with a tutorial how to make it and put it together in my store. And a specific section just designated to all things travel notebook you will find under the journal section in our categories section in the store. Alright, then these are just the basic things, and I want to look at some pens and pencils as well, so we'll do that up next. I just created this little video, so that's up next, how to use white in your art projects. So we were talking about all the white things that we can use, and I have been testing out the acrylic matte glaze medium, and I think that I'm in love. I'm going to use a lot of it. I'm just sorry that it's a glaze medium, but it is matte, and so it does give you a matte finish. Just want to see which one. This one I used in the background, so it's a matte finish, so it's not too glossy, which I was afraid it's going to be. So I think from now on I'm going to use a lot of the acrylic matte glaze medium. The difference in texture between that and the normal gel medium is the gel medium can be used as a texture paste in the background. That's what I used with the stencil in this one. And so it gives you a little bit of a lift, but it's clear, so it dries clear, and you can add your art product on top of it. I was thinking of using a little bit of my metallic wax by Little Birdie Crafts and see if that does something. I really like the smell of this product, so it gives it a little bit of a interesting shimmer and shine, a little bit vintage, not too gold, so it's like a rustic gold color. And I don't want to get rid of all of the white, so I like the white in the background, so I'm going to go on using it in the color pieces or areas, and very nice. So that's basically what you get there. Okay. But I think with the acrylic glaze medium it's a little bit more fluid, so I will try it on stencils, but I don't think at this point that would be my go-to medium. But I'm the kind of artist that likes to test products beyond what the label says it can do, so I'll keep you posted. But I really enjoyed creating these tags, just played around with my paints, and I was testing different things out, and one of the things that I wanted to test was the difference between the opaqueness of gelato. So I've got this coconut, so it's really close to white. I just want to check if I've got another one here. I do have a metallic icing, so it's a shimmer one. Didn't use that in my project, but I tried the coconut, which is really white, but it's not the same. It doesn't give you the same coverage as the deco art. Now I must say that the deco art on black cardstock like this is a printed cardstock, so this is black printed toner, and I needed to cover it so that my art product can stick nicely to the surface, and using the acrylic matte glaze medium helped a lot. So what I found was also it can blend nicely with your acrylic paints, which is one of the characteristics listed here. So the blending part is wonderful, and then it gives you that wonderful finish, and I really like that. What I also found is that the Posca pens gives a nicer pop than your Jelly Roll pens would do. The Jelly Roll pens kind of fade away on the toner, so I would say that you can try this on different things. So I want to test, let's see, I bought a packet that gives me 3 sizes. So there's a 1, a 0.5 and a 0.8. So I want to check out what this does. So it is just for fun, these tags, so we can add little elements to it just to test out, little squiggles. So that works, and if you do it in one place, do it at least in another place or 2 more places, then it's like it's meant to be. So I'll leave it at that. So you will see that that works on the DecoArt paint, the Americana paint. It does work, but I find that the Posca pen, if I look at it closely, is a much whiter pop on that. So yes, these are great, but in comparison, your Posca pen, which is a paint pen, has a bigger pop on an art journaling surface. So just keep that in mind. Both are good, but my preference would definitely be the Posca pen, which will write on top of your surfaces. Just ensure that your surfaces are dry, because you don't want, especially with the white Posca pens, you don't want paint on that nib, because it will clog it and it will dry, and then you lose your pen, or you at least you have an issue, you know, with it's not white and crisp anymore, so it may give you some trouble. Okay, so playing around with this, and then I also used my Montmartre oil pastel when I started out this heart. So if you check my video, you'll see I use this crayon. So I'll probably be using more of these in my videos, because I did purchase a bigger batch of those in the rainbow, which I say always test it out, and I've been testing them in a smaller batch. So I did buy a bigger one, and I can open it up. Let me just get it open here. Okay, so there we go. We've got, there's definitely white, then all your yellows and oranges, all the reds and purples going into your blues, greens, and a little skin color. We've got Naples yellow, yellow ochre, which is a standard artist color that you need, a raw sienna, burnt umber, raw umber, etc. So grays and your black into your black. There's also a slate, so a nice big variety. And why I like this is I'm a bigger fan of oil pastels than the chalky pastels, and these are water soluble, which I think is just wonderful, that you have a little bit of both, the things that you love in one product. And so I'm gonna really see how these products kind of respond in my Bible journaling, creating backgrounds and things like that, and other things, other projects, little art projects. I'm digging into more art journaling kind of projects, and so I'm going to use these for that. So great quality and affordable product, and I'm going to see if I can enjoy this more perhaps than gelatos. I think these are more affordable than gelatos. You have the range, and I think because it's not that expensive, you kind of feel like, oh, I'm going to use this up. Alright, gelatos is a little bit pricey sometimes, and I feel like it holds me back. I'm kind of using it sparingly, which I probably shouldn't, but I don't reach for my gelatos that much. So I'm going to challenge myself with some more art journaling and see if I can create little projects like these using all the different products. And as I said, I tried the white gelato. It didn't pop on the page as much as my Americana, the Snow White paint does. So really love this for art journaling, especially the coverage is great. In another video I will compare for you the DecoArt Americana with the Crafters acrylic, and so I have a video outstanding for that I want to do. But really loved just getting into making art again and just playing around. So this was just like a warm-up, that I'm going to see what I can do with these tags and how I can use them in different projects. Perhaps you'll see them pop up on a Bible journaling spread, you never know. Right, so one of the things you'll see me do in my next video is working with the Cretacolor white chalk oil pencil, and the reason for this is if you want to place your artwork without harsh lines and things, just kind of tracing quickly, that could give you a nice way of just the placement. So chalky pencils, great. If you don't want that harsh line staying in place there, this could be great, especially if you're working with a solid black or a dark background. I like doing this when I do canvas art. I give it a dark brown, not necessarily black, but a dark brown background, and then I place my artwork and then I color in the artwork, much like I do in the video where I create this tag. So don't forget to watch the next video. I also tried just a normal Staedtler Norris color white pencil on my cardstock. It didn't want to take at all, but when I used this one, I actually painted the background, so it's white cardstock. This was black cardstock, so this pencil didn't want to work on a glossy surface, so just keep that in mind. But the chalky one will work on this, and I've tested it. I placed the artwork there. With this one, I painted the background and I used this pencil, but it will also take the chalk pencil, so both will work on a painted background without you covering it with gel medium or anything. Just your chalky acrylic background gives you that kind of chalkiness. So this will work nicely on that, but it didn't work, the normal pencil didn't work on a glossy surface. So keep it in mind, test out the different pencils and pens that you have on different surfaces and see what you get. So those are the pens. I wanted to just talk about the Posca pens in terms of size. You get different kinds, so you get the nice big one. So I don't have the big white one yet, so I'm looking out for that, but this is a nice big, the big mama. I just wanted to open it. There we go. So nice big marker, and then you get a number 1.8 to 2.5 millimeters. I use this one often, but sometimes you want to go a little bit lighter, and I also have the 0.9 to 1.3 millimeters, so it's the 3M. Right, so it says Blanco, so this is white, so that's the 3M, this is the 5M, and I think that big one, that was the 8K. And then this one is my newest one, and this is a 1MR, so it's a 0.7, and really love that for all of the thinner lines, to add that to the artwork. So if you want little fine dots here and there, you can do that with this one, so it looks like you've got a little paint splatter going on in your background. Right. And then you also get this is the brush one, and it is a 350 brush free size. So there we go. I haven't tested this out on any cardstock yet, so let me try. So glossy surface, so it's toner on the background, and you have to push this down a couple of times. Alright, so let's see, let's say okay, my hand is not as steady as it used to be. So because it's kind of a glossy background, it gives you a little bit of movement there, and you'll probably have to go over it again. But it just gives you the idea. Okay, and you've got the fine point. You can add little dots if you want to. So there we go. So that's your brush pen. and it did take nicely, but probably another layer would make it pop a little bit better, but it does work. Alright, so you get these in various colors, and I can recommend the Posca brand. So the brush lettering pen, amazing. I'm gonna see if I can find a black one. Actually wanted to buy the black one the other day, but they're a little bit more pricey than the other pens in the range. So if you do decide to go for the black, then or for the brush lettering pen, I would suggest that you start with black, because you can use that on any surface, and then the next one would be white. If you can find gold, that would be great. I have, in terms of colors, I only have a gold, so I started just going for all the different sizes in black and white, and then I've got the gold, and now I can start kind of thinking about digging into the rainbow, purchasing the rainbow of all the different other colors. But I feel like with Posca it is a bit more pricey and less available in my local country of South Africa, so I start with the basics and then I'll build up my stash. And these are pens that's going to last you quite some time if you look after them well. Right, so those are our basic white products that I wanted to share with you, the things that I recommend. Why do we need the white? Why do we work with the white? Because white goes with everything, but also it makes a pop on any art piece, and it also is very versatile in terms of blending and using in different ways. So think out of the box. How can you use your white products together with everything else? And it can save you some money, because you are going to stretch your other products with the white. So as a base, it's amazing to have, or to start with, your white paint. Have a medium of some sort that you can use. Remember to add your drops, your Nouveau drops, also in white, and then build on your rainbow of products in terms of what it is that you like to use, and test out a product until you're happy and you think that, okay, this is something I'm going to reach for often, and then you buy that. So I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to watch the next video.